Почитувани, добар ден, гостин во неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа е холандскиот амбасадор во Скопје Вилем Ваутер Пломп. Амбасадоре, со оглед на проблематичното досегашно спроведување на договорот од Пржино, какви се вашите очекувања за создавање на минимум фер и демократски услови за одржување на изборите во април до година?
Well, let me first of all say that I arrived only 100 days ago, so I was not here at the moment in June and July when the Persian Agreement was signed. But what I understand, it was a lengthy process, which is of course very understandable given the very complex issues at hand and the high stakes involved for all parties. But what is important, I think, is that at the end of the process, all political parties agreed and they put a signature under this so-called Persian Agreement. And that is what we have now. And when we look at the implementation of the agreement, I think some important progress has been made, like the opposition coming back to Parliament, which is not to be underestimated, because now Parliament is really what it should be, where the political debate is taking place and where legislation is being prepared. Also, the special prosecutor has been appointed, and now it's extremely important that she can do her job and that all institutions involved work together and make it possible for her to do her job. At the same time, several issues still have to be resolved. And some of the most important issues have to do, of course, with the elections next year. There will be some kind of transitional government. Some steps have been made, some other steps still have to be made. And an extremely important part is, of course, related to the media, because free and independent media, objective media, are very important. Maybe finally, the guarantee of the right to vote is another extremely important element. When I learned upon arrival here that about 32%, according to one poll, does not think that the vote is fully secret in Macedonia, and that was up from 22% last year, I would say that is a bit worrying, because as far as I know, the vote really is secret in Macedonia, and I think it's extremely important that all people can vote and will express their choice next year, because that also is a kind of civil responsibility, if you like. Also the citizens here have a certain responsibility. Having said that, of course, the main responsibility for the success of the Persian Agreement and the success of the elections next year, whatever the outcome, lies with the government, with Parliament, with legal institutions, and maybe at this moment, first and foremost, with the political leaders of the four parties who put their signature under this Persian Agreement and have to make it work.
Што мислите, кој е сега клучниот суштински предизвик со кој што треба да се соочат и власта и опозицијата во ова или во следната фаза од преговорите?
Well, what I learn through the media, what I read, what I hear, is of course now that the media itself is the main thing at this moment. And if you look at the deadlines, several deadlines have been missed already, unfortunately. And of course the clock is ticking, so to say, towards 24th of April next year. So it's extremely important that an agreement is reached about the media, which will entail, well, first for the elections next year, but also a long-term solution to guarantee that indeed the media can play their role as they should play in any democracy. I mean, most democracies, if not all, have certain rules for to guarantee that the media can play that essential role of providing information, facts and information to citizens. And therefore, for instance, it's extremely important to make very clear distinctions between political advertising and objective news reporting by any media, be it public or private media.
Во контекст на медиумите, што мислите вие, какви долгорочни решенија се потребни за да може да се обезбеди квалитетно и објективно известување на медиумите во ек на предизборието?
You know, that is, of course, not for the international community to say how it should be. In the end, Macedonians should find a Macedonian solution that fits the Macedonian context. Having said that, there are, of course, multiple rules in many EU member states and beyond the EU as well. There are many good practices, and maybe it's important to stress that, of course, there is already an international facilitator who is really doing his utmost to facilitate this process in the so-called working groups to find a solution that fits the Macedonian context and at the same time is in line with existing rules in most democracies.
Анкетната комисија за прислушување заглави уште на самиот почеток од работата. Очекувате ли да има позитивен исход од незината работа ако според досегашното искуство од анкетните комисии немаше реална општествена корист досега?
I think it's very important here to make the distinction between, you could say there's a political accountability and there's a legal accountability. When it comes to the political accountability, it is logical that Parliament, being the main political institution, plays the main role, and that therefore within Parliament such an inquiry commission has been set up. And I think it's a good sign that there has been agreement on the composition of the inquiry commission, that the inquiry commission has started working, and the important thing now is that everybody cooperates and that that commission can do its work to establish the political accountability, and at the same time, of course, the special prosecutor can do her job, and that all institutions work together to make it possible for her to do her job when it comes to the legal accountability. Because, of course, these so-called wiretaps, they contain very serious allegations that would deserve to be verified, and therefore inquiry, investigation is extremely important to establish indeed both the political and the legal accountability.
Што мислите, имаат ли судовите капацитет да се справат со можни обвиненија кон сегашните функционери кои што би ги покренала можеби во идни на Јанева, ако имаме наум дека тие ќе бидат и дел, известно е, односно дека ќе бидат и дел од избирачките листи во април?
You know, these are legal questions that is really not up to me to speculate upon. All I can say is again that those political leaders put a signature under the agreement, and that maybe that is something I have not yet said, that that agreement has been part and parcel of the progress the country makes, and that is to be assessed by the European Union when it comes to the accession of Macedonia to the same European Union. You have probably seen the country report that was published not so long ago. In the presentation, it was made very clear that also the implementation of the Persiano Agreement is part of the measures that are expected from Macedonia when it will come to assess the progress the country has made towards accession. So really it is necessary, first of all, towards Macedonians to implement fully these accords, but in a way also to the European Union if Macedonia wants to accede to that very same EU.
Ви благодарам за разговорот.
Thank you very much.
Вам, почитувани, ви благодарам што го следевте неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа. До гледање.